Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Victoria and today I'm bringing you the financial or budgeting review of 2023 and some comparison between 2021, 2022 and 2023 as well to see how did my spending change, if it went up, if it went down in some categories, how does it compare, especially considering the past year's inflation, prices going up. Let's see how I did with that. And this is probably going to be my last budget related video on my channel, at least for a while. I kind of have been thinking about this for a bit and I feel like I'm not very comfortable sharing so much. So probably this will not be something that I will keep doing in the future. For now, I just wanted to bring you this summary and this comparison because I think that is interesting to share how the last 3 years of my spending compares with each other, and if my last year of no spend 2022 had an impact actually on my spending because I did a low spend year or no spend year in certain categories in 2022, and I'm wondering if my total spending or my average spending in those categories where I did my low buy, this actually shows in comparison to 2021 and 2023 when I did not do a no buy year. Let's go through as the usual way, the categories that we always discuss. My main categories are my fixed costs and variable costs, and there are a few sinking funds as well that I am building up for bigger ticket items that I would like to purchase at some point, where I am kind of saving up for these bigger purchases. Let's look at the fixed costs, which even my fixed costs vary between months and months. The reason for that is because I'm not paying all my bills at the same time every month, but some bills come annually, some bills come monthly, some bills come quarterly. So there is a fluctuation between when I pay what. So on average, I calculated originally, and let's look at it. Originally, as you can see, I calculated 898 euros and 84 cents per month that I spend on my fixed costs. And now you can see my average after 12 months of 2023. Actually, my average spend per month total in this category was 958 euros and 18 cents. So it was 60 euros higher. Let's see how things went in December. So my rent stayed the same as normal, 574.84. House insurance I pay every September, but monthly I calculate 14.50 euros since the last September, because every September they raise the price. So in September I adjusted this to a higher amount, and my average spending was 14.90 euros in this category. I don't even know how is this even possible, because it should be less than this actually. I might have to review this one. Heating, on average, I'm calculated 48 euros, but my heating bill went down in October. I pay heating every 2 months, and I was paying 96 euros every 2 months, and that was 48 euros per month, but it changed. And from October onwards, I'm paying way less than that every 2 months. And in December, actually I only had to pay 2 euros because I had so much overpayment. So here I accumulated a positive balance of 45 euros and 95 cents in total after the end of the year, which I will roll over to 2024. Same with house insurance. Of course, this acts kind of like a sinking fund because I paid in September. So every month I put in this 14 euros and 50 cents. I already accumulated around 50 euros. And then this will accumulate until September when I will pay the bill. Electricity is the next one, which I pay every 3 months. I removed from here my monthly contribution at some point. And maybe that is what is missing from here actually, because I removed the monthly contribution to the electricity bill at some point this year because I had so much overpayment and I had such a positive balance that I didn't have to put in any more money into this kind of sinking fund. So I have a rollover of 23.25 and my average per month is 14.50 euros for the past year. And yeah, I don't remember now what is my contribution per month from 2024, honestly, but it is, I believe it is around 24 euros per month. Then internet and mobile, this includes internet service at this apartment where I live in Vienna and also in Hungary where my mom lives in that apartment. Also there is a TV service or TV subscription there in Hungary. Here I don't have that, but here I have a mobile phone subscription included in this price. On average, I calculate 78 euros, which is something that was adjusted throughout the year because originally I was calculating with around 70 euros. But I forgot that every year for my bill in Vienna, I have to add an additional 50 euros of annual fees, which I kind of forgot originally. So that is why we have still a little bit of a minus, because I only started to put 78 euros into this category after June of 2023. And my average spending was 74 euros and 52 cents per month. Then other subscriptions include Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube Premium. And there is also a Google subscription because I ran out of storage on my Google account. I store a lot of photos there. So that's why I have a subscription for 2 euros to be able to store 100 gigabyte on my Google account. This is around 18 euros that I have been calculating for all of these 4 subscriptions in total. I have a shared Netflix account, that is why my Netflix is kind of cheap. Actually, in the first 6 months or something like that of the year, I didn't pay for Netflix because the friend of mine who I'm sharing it with, and I know it is not supposed to be the case, we shouldn't be able to share, but it's still working, so we're just gonna keep doing it until it works. Yeah, in the first 6 months, she owed me some money, so we were just deducting my Netflix from what she was owing me, and I only started to pay it from, let's say, July, probably. But this year they raised twice, so that is a bit annoying. Anyway, in total, my average was 14.79 euros, and I have a balance of 32.65 euros that I'm bringing over to 2024 because of the first 6 months when I didn't pay for Netflix. Charity, I calculate with 5 euros per month, and my average spend was 5 euros. In December, I didn't spend any because I pay this annually in March. So I have already 40 euros, kind of, this also acts like a sinking fund. I have 40 euros there already, and by March I should have 60. Then retirement savings, so yeah, in this one I already had some rollover from previous years. Basically I have a retirement saving in Hungary, which is substituted by the government in a way that from my taxes I can take up to 20%. How does it work? Yeah, so basically 20% of what I pay in to this account per year, 20% of that would be added to from the government from my taxes. So basically it's kind of a utilization of the taxes that I already paid for my retirement in the future. But I pay very low taxes in Hungary, so I cannot really maximize this very much. So this year I could only pay like 400 euros into it, and then I will get another less than 100 euros, like 80 euros on top of that, substituted by the government. And then of course it is invested, and then over the years I also get some gain from that. But overall I cannot really put more than this amount into it annually because it wouldn't make that much sense, because I wouldn't get higher amount from the government as an addition to it. Of course, the other part, which is the market fluctuation part, could be positive, but also it could be negative, and currently it is not going very well, the market, of course, like investment market. I have just put the minimum amount, or like for me the maximum amount for which I could gain back from my taxes, the top maximum amount that I actually paid into the taxes. So that's why it was just an average of 33.33 euros for this year that I spent on this, and I still have a balance of over 250 euros from before. So next year is gonna look very similar or maybe even lower. So this is not really retirement saving that I will be able to rely on very much. Then I have a health insurance where normally I put 436 euros and 8 cents, which is like what I have to pay currently for my health insurance, because in the first 3 years it is like frozen. In the first 3 years of being self-employed, every quarter this is the minimum amount that everyone who is self-employed has to pay. But I paid an additional 500 just to have a little bit of a cushion, because eventually they will calculate what I should have paid based on my income, which is going to be higher, and then they will just send me a bill like, now you have to pay everything else that you didn't pay in the previous years, and then the bill can be pretty high. So last year I paid a way higher amount actually in it. Currently my income is not so high, so I only paid 500, and this is an average of 187 euros monthly. And now I'm in minus because I didn't really calculate with this 500 previously, didn't really think about it before, unfortunately. So this is something that I will have to catch up on in 2024. And then the bank costs average 3.5 euros per month. Actually, it was a bit higher than that because, again, there was another expense here that I forgot. Well, first of all, my bank cost went up in June, the average bank cost, and I didn't calculate with my bank card cost, which is an annual, I don't remember how much, but there is an annual fee for my debit card as well. Anyway, I have a balance of 3 euros and 26 cents because at some point I was paying in more than 3.5 euros into this category. So what I also wanted to share, and what I kind of already forgot, is how do these average amounts compare to the previous years? And what I can say is that my average spend on my rent is higher than previous years, but it's not really the rent that went up, but more of the costs that come with having an apartment. So this includes not only my rent, but some other costs like water, garbage disposal, cleaning of the common areas. We have an elevator, we have shared spaces, so we have 70 something euros, I believe, or maybe now 80 something euros per month for that we pay, and that went up in the past year, so that my average cost for my rent went up a little bit. But in 2021 I paid somehow 565 euros on average, and then in 2022 560 euros, so not sure how it was higher in 2021 than in 2022. I think in 2022 I got back more money from these extra costs, shared costs. House insurance, my average on the house insurance in 2021 was 12 euros and 86 cents, and in 2022 13 euros and 77 cents, and now it was 14 euros and 91 cents. So every year it's going up 10 euros per year, which I think is a bit expensive, but I can't really do anything with that because it's my landlord's decision to go with this insurance and I just have to pay it. Heating fluctuated quite a lot in the past years. Last year was very high and then it went down again. In 2021 I paid 29 euros and 17 cents on average per month. In 2022 I paid 29.88. And this year I paid 45.95. So yeah, at the end of 2022 it went up quite a lot, like 20 euros on average per month. And now it went back for 2024, luckily. Electricity, I paid 36.86 in 2021. Then it went down to 22.69. And then this year it was only 14 euros and 50 cents. So my electricity consumption went down proportionally as well. Because the price went up, I just stopped using electricity, I guess. Really, I went very scarce with everything. I was trying to save on both electricity and heating a lot these past 2 years. Internet and mobile, that was 49.59 in 2021, 67.63 in 2022, and 74.52 in 2023. So this has been also going up. My subscriptions, well, they kind of changed a lot. In 2021 they were 31.21. Then in 2022 it was 19.80, and now it's only 18. So it went down. I guess I have less. I'm not sure if I have less subscription. Yes, I do. Because I used to have, before 2022, I think the last time I purchased Audible subscription was at the end of 2021. And that is why now it's proportionally lower, because since then, for 2022, I still had the subscription, and then I still had a lot of credit. So I purchased, at the end of my subscription, I just purchased a lot of books. I downloaded them, and then I stopped my subscription. And I was still reading those books most of 2023 or listening to them. And then I received some books as presents. So I'm still listening to those that I received as presents from people. So I didn't have to have an Audible subscription renewal since November 2021, which is great, honestly, because Audible is quite pricey, to be honest, but I do use it. So at one point in 2022, I will probably have to renew my subscription for that, and then this subscription will also go up. Charity, that has been constant since 2020. I'm not raising that. Retirement savings, let's see, actually, I'm not sure if I have it in my previous. In 2021, I didn't include it. I think in 2021, my mom paid it because that was my Christmas present. In 2022, I paid 635 euros for the year, and this year I paid 400 only. So it has been going down. Health insurance, well, that's something that I didn't pay in 2021 separately because I was employed, and then in 2022, I started my self-employment. That's when I started to pay, but only from June. So only 2023 was my first year when I paid for health insurance. So I cannot compare that, but even that one, the monthly contribution, the minimum monthly contribution compared to last year has gone up. And I'm curious if this year it will go up again. And the bank costs, let me see if I can find it. In 2021, I paid €7.21 on average per month. In 2022, I paid €7.77, and in 2023, I paid €5.61. How? That is very weird, actually, because the bank costs have gone up. I think compared to 2021, it makes sense because I still had a credit card in 2021, which also had extra costs, and then I gave that back at the end of 2021. But I'm not sure why in 2022 it was higher than in 2023. Maybe I calculated something wrong. Anyway, my average spending on the fixed cost is €958.18, which kind of aligns with what I have been calculating for my monthly contribution. Let's look at the variable costs for December 2023. My dining out and takeout spending has gone down in the past few months. In December, it was €133, and my average was €133.94. My original contribution to this budget category was €140 per month, but then at some point I went way up. So for a while it was €170 that I put, and then I lowered it to 150. But it turned out that the average 140 that I originally planned in January was kind of on point, since I spent 133.94, and yeah, I have a overflow balance of €37 that I'm bringing over to 2024. Groceries is kind of similar. In November, December, since my eating out went down, my groceries went up because I was eating in, of course, more. And I paid in December €210. Of course, that also makes sense because of the holiday season. But in average, my spending was only €162.66 this year, which makes sense because there were 2 months when I was traveling for 2 to 3.5 weeks. There was some other months when I was traveling for at least a week. So during that time, there are no groceries calculated because when I travel, everything that I spend on comes from my travel budget. So even though my average was 160, I was considering to bring down my monthly contribution from 200, because in 2022 I actually spent 173 euros and 98 cents on average, and in 2021 I spent 173 euros on average. So actually this year I spent less than in the past 2 years on average per month on groceries, which is probably because of the travels that I did, but also because there was one kind of big within the grocery budget that kind of fell out almost completely in 2023, which is the alcohol. So I previously also included in the grocery budget the alcohol that I was purchasing in the supermarkets, because usually I bought them together with groceries. But I just stopped buying alcohol in 2023, and in 2024 I actually don't want to buy at all in supermarkets. So let's see how will that go. I'm doing dry January, so that is definitely making things easier. But I have so much still at home. I keep receiving them as gifts, so I still have so much alcohol at home that even if I didn't stop drinking alcohol, or if I didn't lower my alcohol consumption compared to previous years, I could still last probably without purchasing. It's kind of weird and also like scary in a way, like how do I accumulate so much stuff? And I didn't compare dining out budget compared to 2022 and 2021. So this year it was 133.94, and in 2022 it was 144.67, and in 2021 it was 71 euros and 47. But of course 2021 was still COVID times and a lot of lockdowns, and restaurants were closed a lot, or it was difficult to go. So it makes sense that the year after it doubled, and then this year compared to last year it went down a little bit. Gift category, that was one that I remember in 2021 it was high. In 2021 I spent 37 euros and 82 cents on gifts every month. Now in 2023 I spent 25 euros. And that was something that was part of my no-buy year or low-buy year in 2022, because after 2021 I thought that I have been spending too much on gifts. So it kind of went down, but let's see in 2022 actually. In 2022 I spent 26.35. So in my low-buy year I spent €1 more on average than in my non-low-buy year. On a category that was part of the low buy. But yeah, anyway, like I think we can say comfortably that my low buy, at least in the gift category, did make an impact and was effective, because compared to 2021 my spending for both next years have gone down on average 12 euros per month, which is 144 euros a year, which is nice to have an extra 144 euros for other things. Car category, I spent 14 euros and 38 cents on average. And this is something that I'm not sure I will be able to compare between before the previous years, because my car category changed a little bit, but let's see. I can't compare that, but I think my car spending also went down on average. In December, in November, I didn't spend anything, and I still have a balance because I kept putting in this 10 euros every month, and before it was probably higher than 10 euros, so I have a balance of 106 euros and 50 cents, which I will spend most of that in January because I have to buy a toll sticker for my car so that we can use the highways in Austria in 2024 again. Public transport, my spending in November and December, as you can see, have gone up. In December it was 21.90. This included one weekly ticket, which is 17.90, I think. And during that week I actually tried to use it as much as possible. My contribution per month was defined at 20 euros, but I actually spent only 14 euros and 39 cents per month on public transport. And the reason for that is because basically from March until October, I was going to most places by bike. If I go alone, I go by bike. If I go with someone, then we most likely go by public transport. And I have a balance or an overflow to next year. And let's see if I can compare with previous years. In 2021, my public transport spending was 35 euros on average. That's surprising. Where was I going? I don't know. In 2022, it was 24 euros, and this year it was only 15 euros. So it has been going down every year. I don't know if I can make it go down even more next year, because I think in 2023 I really maximized my usage of the bike as opposed to the public transport, and the avoidance of public transport in general. I think I topped it out. I probably cannot go lower than this with using public transport. That's kind of impressive, actually. Then clothing. Clothing is an interesting category because it was part of my no-buy year in 2022. And in 2022, I did not buy clothes other than... How did I do that? Yes. I still put some things into this category last year. So my spending was 12 euros and 83 cents average per month on the clothing category, because I bought a suitcase, which I put into this category last year before my big trip to the Northern Mariana Islands. I needed a reasonably sized suitcase because before that I had either very small ones like carry-ons, and I had huge ones because I moved across the world with huge suitcases before, but I didn't have a reasonable sized one with which I can go to a 3-week trip to a Pacific island where the weather is great. So yeah. And ever since then, I have been using the suitcase on all my trips, basically. So that was included. And I think I bought maybe a bathing suit because when I was in the Philippines, I needed a bathing suit with long sleeves. I didn't have that. And in the Northern Mariana Islands, I got a pretty bad sunburn. So after that, I decided, okay, I need a long sleeve bathing suit. And then in 2021, my clothing spending was 56 euros and 29 cents on average. And normally my budget for clothing is 50 euros per month. And since last year, I was still putting in the 50 euros per month, even though I didn't spend it. I have an accumulation of about 500 euros that I could use this year. So my budget for this year was around 1,100 euros for clothing, and I wanted to invest in some more quality pieces, actually. And in one way, I managed to do that. Like, I definitely bought some investment pieces which I'm hoping to be able to use long term. So I'm hoping to be able to keep them. These are like pieces that are quite classical and, like not super fashionista. But of course I still did secondhand shopping where I got some less quality items, and I still did purchase some lower quality items overall in fast fashion stores as well. On average, I have spent 92 euros and 37 cents this year per month. But in the previous months, in December, I didn't spend anything on clothing. There is still a list of things that I would like to buy. This is something that I have followed quite closely this year. If you have been watching my reset videos, you know that I have been putting together an in and out balance. What are the things that came into my life and what are the things that I finished or decluttered. So I did this year 2 or 3 clothes declutters when I got rid of clothes that don't serve me anymore, or that were damaged, or the size was not correct. And I am trying to build up my wardrobe, find my style and all that. So as you know, I also did this color analysis and all that. So I was kind of investing in my style a lot. And this is something that interests me quite a bit. So my spending was definitely higher, but the reason for this was that I could afford this because I did a no-buy in 2022 and I accumulated a bigger sum of money that I was free to spend this year. My medical expenses definitely have gone up this year compared to the previous years. In December, I spent 62 euros and 96 cents, which was 2 therapy sessions. On average, I have spent 51 euros and 65 cents this year. And let me see in previous years. Last year, my spending was 25 euros, so it is a 200% raise compared to like it is double now, my spending per month. And in 2021, it was 23.50. So yeah, I doubled my spending compared to the previous years in this category, but it is because I started therapy and this is included in this budget category. Self-care has been a problematic category. Every year it's a problematic category. Last year I decided to do a low buy in self-care because I felt like I was spending too much before. In 2021 my average spending was 36 euros per month. So I did the low buy year and I managed to go down to 32 euros last year. So I would say that I didn't really succeed because my average spending didn't go down very much. I mean, 4 euros per month, okay? That is still something. That is still 50 euros for the year, which is already something. And then this year it went up to 45 euros. So like 10 euros more than last year. Yeah, it is a painful category for me, unfortunately. I have been struggling with skin problems. I'm always trying new products and all that. But I feel like that I have finally found in almost all hygiene, skincare, makeup, etc. categories, all of these self-care categories, I have found the products that I like, that work for me, and also that are not too expensive, because I was trying to replace some of the things that were more expensive with cheaper products, because sometimes the cheaper products actually have less ingredients which are actually better for my skin. So I'm hoping that in 2024 I can push down these 44.73 euros that I spent on self-care and skincare and hygiene products on average in 2023 with that 10 euros. So like back to 35, I would say, would be great. And now I'm just gonna focus on replacements because I think I don't need to try new things anymore. Just stick with what works, really. I already wanted to minimize my skincare before, but then I again got intrigued by products and then I started to try new products again for some reason, and honestly, they didn't help. I don't think they did help my skin, so I'm just gonna stick to my usual products for 2024. Furniture and decor. I'm curious about this one actually. How does it compare in the previous years? I haven't been spending in the last 2 years much on furniture and decor. I live here. I haven't changed much. I bought a few small things to improve certain areas, and I started to include decor in this category, which wasn't included in it before. And I spent an average of 16.54 euros, which I think is very low spending in this category. And I still put, for a while I didn't because I didn't have enough income, but from 2024 I will continue putting 50 euros in this category every month, just in case if I move from here, and in that case I will probably have to buy new furniture again, then I will have some money saved up for this purpose. So I have at the moment 800 euros saved up, from which I could probably not even buy a couch. Luckily I have a couch, so I can move that with me. But like every apartment is different, so maybe this couch would not be the right fit for a new apartment. Anyway, the point is that I will keep saving up for a potential move, basically. Let's compare with previous years. In 2022, I did a low buy or no buy in furniture. There were 2 exceptions to this no buy because in the apartment in Hungary where my mom lives, we needed to finish 2 things. One was entry hallway wardrobe that my cousin made. So I had to pay for that. And I actually had to pay that last year in the beginning of the year. And then I also wanted to buy some bookshelves, which I still haven't bought, but I'm not sure about that one. But my spending last year was, well, it says 0. Which I don't think that is accurate. Or maybe my mom paid for the wardrobe, so I didn't have to, so at the end I didn't spend anything on furniture. Let me see my notes. Yeah. No, apparently I didn't do that. I didn't buy the bookshelves for sure, and then I guess the wardrobe was paid by my mom. So I didn't spend on furniture. Yay, I succeeded. I just remember now that I succeeded on my no buy of furniture last year. The year before I spent an average of 170 euros, a total of over 2,000 euros on furniture. In 2021, what did I buy in 2021 that was so expensive? I guess like stuff for my apartment in Hungary, not for this apartment, because this apartment was furnished in 2020. I don't think I bought anything in 2021 for this apartment. I don't remember anymore. Anyway, yeah, my furniture spending definitely went down as we settled into the new places. And this will hopefully not go up until I move again. Supplies and maintenance, this includes kitchen utensils, cleaning supplies, anything for the apartment which is not a decoration but more of a utility thing, and maintenance. So if I have to fix anything in the apartment, I spent 31 euros and 9 euro cents on average in December. I spent 6 euros and 50 cents. I have an overflow here as well, 165 euros. And this is a category that I don't think I can compare again with previous years because the category has changed and I kind of combined different categories. I spent last year on supplies 19 euros on average, so that is lower, but that didn't include my maintenance costs and my laundry costs. And if I add that, then we go up to 25, which is still lower than this year. And in 2021, I spent a lot, over 65 euros in this category per month. So in the no buy year, I didn't spend much. And then this year I spent a bit higher, but still much less than before. But I guess in 2021, because of still working on the apartment in Hungary, there were a lot of things we had to spend on, or I had to spend on. Investments. I started investing in 2021, November, I think. And since then, I kept investing 100 euros every month. So in 2021, I spent 50 euros per month. In 2022, I spent 100. And in 2023, again, 100. Sport. This definitely has gone up in 2023 because I started my clubs and I have this 50 euro my club subscription with which I can go to 4 different gym sessions or classes, to any kind of sport activity basically around Vienna, to almost any studio or any gym, which is amazing. And so I spent an average of 61 euros and 86 cents on this because it's not only my clubs, but on top of that, in the winter I go skating, which I can do now with my clubs. Last year it wasn't so possible. I also started my clubs only in February. So on top of that was skating, on top of that was swimming, which was also not included, at least not where I was going to. In the summer season there is some possibilities for swimming through my clubs, but that was not what I was using. And then on top of this comes also my salsa classes, which have been going up like price-wise because I started with 8 euros per class, 15 euros for 2 classes, and now I'm paying 20 euros for 2 classes because now I'm taking like intermediate classes which are longer than the beginner classes. So every time I go it's like 20 euros, but then I'm dancing for almost 3 hours and I'm like exhausted at the end. I am considering, but I don't think it is justifiable. I was considering to upgrade my club subscription to 100 euro subscription. My salsa classes could also be included in the my clubs, but the problem is that only 4 times a month I could go to the same place, and every time I go to a salsa class it's 2 classes. So then in 1 month I could only go 2 times, and then I would already use all my 4 possibilities, and if I want to go another time I would have to pay extra. So then I'm at like 120 euros or 140 euros already if I go some more times to salsa. Anyway, this year on average I spent 61 euros and 86 cents, and I think for 2024 this will go up because I will travel less, and when I'm traveling I'm not utilizing these subscriptions. I didn't pay for my clubs in December, I didn't pay in June when I was traveling, I didn't pay in January. And this year I don't think I will have such long periods when I will skip it, but we will see. And I didn't have this category before. I had maybe entertainment or unexpected category. Last year I had a movies, books and sport category, which was part of my low buy year, and I spent €9.99 per month, which included every book and movie that I purchased and every occasion I paid for sport, like I did some yoga classes and some ice skating. And in 2022 I spent €12.22 on the movies and books category. That didn't include sport. Now my movies and books go into my blow money category, which we'll talk about a bit later. So that was sport. Then my business, my average spending was €212.07, but this will go up in 2024 to a way higher number because now I have to start paying taxes, which I didn't have to pay before, income tax, because now they finally calculated my first year of self-employment and came up with like a plan for the next years based on that. And my business spending last year, I put that last year my business spending was on average €46.30, but I started only in June, so it doesn't apply for the whole year. And maybe I calculated it with the whole year actually, so the average applies to 12 months rather than 7, but yeah, I cannot really compare 2022 and 2023 when it comes to my business, unfortunately. Then there are two categories, travel and the security fund, that I don't include, so that I am not so fully transparent with my spending and earning. And then I have blow money as my last variable cost category, where I spend €28.71 every month. And I have been putting €20 in lately in the last few months, but originally I think I started with €50 in this category, and then I was going down as I started to accumulate a lot of overflow. And I think, yeah, this makes sense to have it around €25-30 per month for every other random spending that I might have, which includes the books, if I bought books. This year I bought quite a few books, especially compared to last year when I was not allowed to buy books because of the no buy. And in 2024, again, I'm not allowed to buy books because in 2023 I received so many books as presents, as well as I bought new books, that I have quite a lot of books on my bookshelf that I need to read, so I want to read them before I continue with buying new stuff. But if I receive any kind of, coupons to bookstores and vouchers, I will not be mad. So in total, in December, my variable spending was only €615.60, which is like very, very low. But on average, if we consider the whole year, my average spending was €992.62. So my average total spending was €1,950.80. And this is more or less what I'm calculating. On average, I am calculated with about €2,000 that I need per month to comfortably live in Vienna as a single person with an apartment where what I'm paying for by myself. And then on top of that, of course, there are these big ticket things or these sinking funds that I am adding money to whenever I can. I cannot always do it. So when I was earning more, I was adding more to these sinking funds. And when I'm not earning very well, like in the past few months, I was not adding to them. In fact, I was removing from them because I was spending from them. Of course, the Christmas sinking fund, which every month I put, I think, €50 to €60, around that, every month. And my goal was to get to €600, and I don't think I actually ever got to €600, but because I only spent around $350 on Christmas this year, so I didn't see the point of going up to 600 because I already saw in November that my spending will not be so high. I think this year my Christmas spending was pretty low, which I'm not mad about. Still, everyone got nice presents. You can check what I got for everybody. There is a video on my channel, a Vlogmas video. I think it's Vlogmas video number 12. And I think because of this, I'm lowering my goal for 2024 from 600 to 400, I think, or maybe 450. In the previous years, I think I raised it to 600 from 500 because in the previous 2 years the 500 was not enough. But to be fair, like 2 years ago, we got a laptop for my mom that I paid the majority of, and like every year there was something big ticket. And this year everyone just got like normal amounts or low amounts of Christmas gifts. Then I have a jewelry sinking fund because I would like to invest in some nice, more dainty, newer jewelry pieces. The jewelry that I have, most of them are quite old, and some of them I inherited from family, so like they could be 30 years old even, so they are a bit outdated, I would say, and I would like to get some newer, nicer pieces, but I haven't started to look into it, to be honest. It is kind of something that intimidates me because I don't really know much about jewelry, but I don't want to buy like bad quality stuff. Then I would like to buy a Vitamix already since 3 years. Actually, the point of my no-buy, or one of the goals of my no-buy, was to buy it, but then I just didn't. I would like to buy roller skates, and to this now comes also that I need to buy ice skates because my ice skates are very, very uncomfortable. They are very old. I got them in 2006 or 2007, so I need a new pair, and for me that is a big investment because I used to be an ice skater and I need like proper skates. Luckily I don't need the blades because I got a few years back new blades which are still perfectly okay to use. I'm not skating that much that I would need to replace the blades already, but I need the shoes. And then the MacBook was the only thing that I actually purchased in 2023. It was higher than anticipated, the price, so I'm still paying it off to myself. And I would like to get a camera to be able to film, but also for other things that I would like to do with my business. That these are still like pending. Why do I speak so much? This is such a horribly long video, and I promised that I will make short videos in 2024. I will try my best in the future to make shorter videos. As I mentioned, this was my last budget or finance related video. For a while, I will not make this anymore. I hope you got some out of it, got some information, some useful points, some ideas on how to budget, or got motivated maybe for a no-buy/low buy based on my results, which they weren't mind-blowing, but to be fair, I was never really a big shopper. Like a lot of people do no-buy years to break this habit of shopping. That was just never me. I guess I already broke this shopping habit, or I never had it actually. I don't think I ever had it. I was always broke. And when I started to have money, I was moving around so much that it didn't make sense to me to buy things because I wouldn't have been able to take them with me. So I always kept my stash or whatever, my wardrobe and everything like pretty minimal. And since I moved to Vienna, since I kind of settled here, and since I have an apartment that I could fill with my own things, and I'm not planning to leave within the next, few months or years, it has changed, and I started to purchase things and invest in things, which makes complete sense. But I don't think that my spending is crazy in any categories, honestly. So yeah, this is just my take on budgeting and personal finance. I hope you enjoyed these videos, these reset videos, but also my no-buy series from 2022. And if you think that you would prefer that I still share budgeting related videos or finance videos, then do let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet, and I will see you at my next videos. Until then, goodbye.